All right, everybody, welcome back to the long-anticipated return of the NBHL Commish Chat Podcast. I'm NBHL Commissioner Anthony Sanrocco, joined by TJ Janus and Gianni Sanrocco, as we take you through a lot of stuff that we have not talked about a long time ago. Yeah, we just forgot to do a podcast.
Well, I don't know if forgot so much as we couldn't do the podcast. This podcast room served as our temporary storage while we were waiting to put everything away. So we couldn't have done one unless you guys wanted to see all of our boxes surrounding us and threatening to avalanche on top of us.
And we really took our time putting things away and did it in December.
3 months or something like that. Yeah.
So think of everything you saw, the NBHL Championships was all in our office, spread across everywhere. And then we put it away
On a Saturday.
So it was tough coming in here. I kind of was just like, this is not how this should look in here. We not have any guests in the office for a little bit because it was quite embarrassing, but thank God that's just between us and no one knows that we had the office looking like that. So
there's no pictures. It didn't happen if we didn't want it to.
No. But all right, how are we doing? How are we doing with the off season? How are we out with everything?
Good.
It's been.
I'm ready to get into the next year, honestly. More hockey.
More hockey. No major changes in any of our lives, I don't think.
No.
I don't think anyone did anything big.
No, not that I can think of.
My new wife will kill me if I don't correct that statement on the podcast. That's part of the reason why we took so long, is because one of the weekends was occupied by my wedding.
That did affect it.
Shout out to being married.
Yeah.
And long-term commitments, everyone.
Yeah, congrats if you're married on watching this podcast, because...
Yes, this is for you, all the married people out there.
But yeah, off season, standard amount of chaos, revamping divisions, getting new teams in, figuring out how teams are going to change, moving teams up tiers, moving teams down tiers. But we're not going to get too into that in this episode. This is going to be more a recap of the NBHL Championships, because we never recapped it and we need to. And so much stuff happened that we need to get into. But real quick, just a couple deadlines I want to hit on before we actually get to the NBHL Championships is January 3rd, jersey submission is due. Legends tier, the deadline for registration is then. If you have a sponsorship for your jerseys, it is also due then. So January 3rd for all of that. January 8th, roster submission is due. So you have to have your roster sheets filled with, team name or all the names and jersey numbers and shirt size and all that stuff. And our women's tier deadline. So that's January 8th is that deadline. And then February 8th, we'll have our deposits out. They'll be due then. So I asked, just make my life easy about this. We try to, we're not perfect. We try to set everyone up for success. So if you can get those things up, that would be appreciated on time. And then we have two major additions to the NBHL staff. Melissa Jones is no longer the women's tier commissioner, and now we have split the role for Colleen Murphy, who's going to be our women's elite commissioner, and Maria Gibson, who's going to be our women's tier commissioner. So they're awesome. We had a pretty long interview process.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the most rigorous one that I think we've ever had for any position here so far.
It felt like, we interviewed people in the past, but it felt like legitimately interviewing someone. I don't know. And just the amount of good candidates we had was honestly surprising, I guess. I didn't expect to have that many people that were so good. So it was definitely tough.
Yeah, we had amazing candidates. It was an extremely difficult decision to come to a conclusion on who we were hiring. But, after talking about it, I think both of these, commissioners make perfect sense for what they're doing. And so far, they've already put things into play. And I know Elite, we're waiting to announce some things, but that'll come in January. Maria's done a ton with the women's tier so far, but just two awesome leaders that we're honored to have them on board with us. I'm really excited to start working with them. But yeah, Colleen, Maria, welcome.
Yeah. And I want to say too, we weren't even planning on hiring two commissioners at first.
Yeah.
We initially were going to keep it, one in the same role like we had with Melissa. But I think we just felt that Maria and Colleen were just so perfect for each of their respective roles. We just felt like we had to, and I think it's so far going really well.
Yeah, it's been great. It's been great. So we'll have them on the podcast at some point to talk more about them and their story and everything. So this is a soft launch of them as the women's tier commissioners. We'll let them truly introduce themselves at some point in the coming months. But like I said, so next episode, won't be for. I won't be months from now.
Yeah.
It'll be sooner
Probably-
than the gap that we just had. But we'll talk about the offseason, the rule changes, why we did certain things, why things are changing in certain directions, and what we're adding and all that. But right now we're getting to the NBHL Championships. So we'll recap. We'll hit Buffalo. We'll hit Jersey. And so NBHL Championships in Buffalo, we had them at Riverworks. It's a beautiful facility. They've got 2 rinks. They've got a red deck rink, and then they have a concrete rink, like a paved concrete rink right next to each other. The deck rink is a little bit smaller. They've got the bar in the back. They've got like they have concerts in the middle of the one room. They were telling me Shaq sold out like 4,000 people DJing there.
Yep.
It's insane. But the facility's great. So Strive and I, we drove up on Wednesday prior to the tournament starting, which is obviously it's a Saturday, Sunday tournament. So Wednesday we get there, we unload all the banners, and we met Sean Green, who runs Riverworks. The guy is the man. He was so accommodating all weekend. And we met Dave, who was one of the maintenance workers there. And Dave and his son were unbelievable the entire weekend. Like, they helped us put up all the banners. Like, there's no way we were getting all the way up to the rafters to put any of the ones we did without these guys. Like, they were just amazing. And even when we were cleaning up, we came back on Monday morning and they had everything just like folded up neatly for us. Like, we didn't even have to do any of it. So
I mean, I think Gianni and I may have went up the Thursday, or was it the Wednesday? I don't even know, but we showed up and I think all the banners were basically up already, and we were like, okay, sweet. Like,
yeah, Thursday we drove up anticipating we were going to have to get there and immediately get out and start hanging stuff up, and we get there and half the banners are
so
already...
shout out the Riverworks staff, because that was huge.
Yeah. They made our lives super easy.
Yeah.
It was a great thing. So we're there Wednesday. Thursday, you guys get there. And I think we were at the rink still setting stuff up, getting tents and our merch set up and everything. We went out for the Bills game. We go to the bar, and it's the 3 of us, Stribe, Melissa, and
Your dad.
And
our dad.
Yeah.
And our dad is a 60-something-year-old man. And we go to the bar. He's the first one in, and they're like, ID. And my dad's like, I didn't bring my ID. And my dad like, no. And Dad actually, he laughed at first.
Yeah.
He like,
He thought they were messing with him.
Yeah.
yeah. And the guy's like, no, I need your ID. That's like, are you serious?
I was like in the back of the line, and like I couldn't hear what happened up, with your dad. And then he had an Eagles hoodie on, and the Bills are playing, and they're not playing the Eagles. And I was like, are they just like not letting him in because he has an Eagles hoodie on right now? I was like, what is going on? But then they're like, no, the ID. I was like, okay.
But they just didn't let him in.
Yeah.
Like, we had to go to a different place because everyone else had their IDs. We were all in our 20s or 30s. And then my dad at, 60 could not get in this
The
bar.
bouncer's just like, yeah, they'll let you in there or whatever, the next bar down.
Yeah. And he was like very like confrontational about it. We're like, all right, like this is clearly our dad. Like, just let us in. But yeah, that was an interesting one. I'm sure that hasn't happened to Dad in a very long time. But we ended up getting to a new
the
bar.
Bills, I just have to say, like,
Yeah.
the Bills, like, I mean, we were only in, I guess, the city for, I don't know, a few hours before the Bills game, but like, it was pretty nuts. Like, the people there and just how many people were out in the street. And I think we walked past, I want to say some University of Buffalo, like satellite campus or something like that. And they just had a giant, like 3 or 4 like projectors, a ton of people out there drinking and watching the game. I was just, this was cool.
Yeah, the atmosphere was electric. It's what you kind of expected from Bills fans. Right. And it was very electric up until it was when they played the Dolphins and Tua got hurt. Remember Tua got knocked out?
That was the game that Tua got hurt, yeah.
So he got hurt, and then it was very quiet.
It was very
The vibe changed completely. But up until then, because they were destroying them, everybody was going nuts, and it was fun. But yeah, Thursday night got to, witness Bills Mafia live for the first time
a little bit.
Yeah, so it was cool.
It's a shame they didn't have a home game that week. That would have been awesome to be a free night. We could have gone if they were playing at home on Thursday.
Yeah. A Thursday night home game is the ideal scenario for us that weekend.
NFL couldn't have done us a solid there and scheduled it for us.
It's bullshit.
Unreal.
It's bullshit.
Come on, Roger.
So Friday we head back up to the rink, final touches, get everything ready, and I think pretty much that night we just went to the Riverworks and saw people as they showed up, had some drinks.
I think you guys went to Niagara, right?
Yeah, me and Strive, my dad snuck away to Niagara because we're the only ones that brought our passports with us.
Yeah.
So we went across my first time ever in Canada. Shout out the country of Canada. Beautiful falls, great water. I know
That's all you got.
it's just a lot of water falling down.
I've seen it before, so I decided not to go. I also didn't have my passport, but I don't even remember what I did that day. But it was fun, probably.
Yeah, we had fun for you, G.
Not as much fun as I had, I'm sure.
We saw the American side. It was cool.
Not as cool as the Canadian side. And you wouldn't know because you weren't there, but me and Dad and Tribe were.
But so getting into the hockey, so we get there Saturday. We've done some setup, not as much as we thought we were going to do because of Dave and the Riverworks staff hooking us up. But we get to the rink Saturday morning. I remember I got there at like 5:30, and the one thing about Riverworks that was an adjustment, I think, for a lot of people was the amount of spiders that were at that facility. Was it not insane?
Forgot about the spiders, yeah.
Oh my God. Like, I remember the first morning I got there and I have like a dual monitor and I had my laptop and I had my dual monitor next to it. And I went, we had our whole setup up top. I went downstairs and I came back like 45 minutes later and a spider web had formed from one laptop to the other. Like, this is crazy.
Disgusting.
It was crazy.
Actually, I think it was a good thing because I feel like I'm more desensitized to spiders now.
Yeah,
I feel like I handle myself around spiders a little bit better because of that experience.
Like halfway through that day, I was like, all right, F it. Like, I'm used to spiders now. Like, I'm just going to feel like I'm getting attacked at all times, I guess. And I'm no longer scared of spiders.
Yeah, I mean, that place is like a haven for spiders. It's perfect for them. Like, if I was a spider, Riverworks, like, that's the spot.
Oh my God.
Easily.
Yes. From what I understand, it's not just like a lot of places in Buffalo have like a lot of spiders. I know Jason Kelly was telling me he'd stayed at Airbnb there for Future Stars at one point, and their Airbnb was like covered in spiders.
Oh, wow.
So spiders just love Buffalo.
All right. So if you're a new team from Buffalo, team
Be
name
the spiders,
idea. Yeah. Buffalo spiders. We don't have spiders.
You have a black widows.
Ooh, we do have black widows. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do. But no, lots of spiders. The interesting part of our setup was we had the whole upstairs sectioned off and we had our media team up there and we had a group of like 10 of us and we had this big table down the middle, and in that table we had all of our laptops and our chargers and every single thing that was important. If you have never been to Riverworks, you have the rink, the downstairs, there's glass around the boards, a lot of people stand there. There's a bar that people stand that kind of overlooks the rink a little bit, and then upstairs you can go stand and then you can look down at the rink and watch the play. And it's a great vantage point. But for us, we were a home media team. They're like, we need to have the prime real estate up there. And also we have this table with thousands of dollars of
computers, equipment,
things, computers, and I don't even know what we had.
Camera equipment, iPads, you name it. Yeah.
So we sectioned off this part and we put up caution tape trying to deter people. And it was a war up there.
Yeah.
Like getting people out of there, getting people in and out. Like we eventually we realized we had too big of an area. So we made the area smaller because we don't need all this space. Like as long as we're in the middle, we're good.
We had to concede some land to opposition forces.
Yeah.
But I mean, I remember some guy arguing or whatever. I was like, I don't know what to tell this guy. Like, honestly, I was like, felt bad that we were taking up some of the, the good vantage area. But, and then Gianni's like, nope, gotta go down. Gotta go down. I was like, hell yeah, G, tell him.
Yeah, I had to be the bad guy. They wouldn't do it.
Yeah, I was like, gee, there's too many people. He was like, all right, everybody out.
And we would have to do it like in the morning on Saturday. It started off fine because there weren't that many people in the area that was left. They would go there, and then as more and more people got there, and one person started going over the banner, then more people would come.
I mean, I can't blame them. I probably would have done.
And then every other game, I'd be like, guys, get out of here! Like you need to leave. Like we have camera equipment, and I have people argue with me, and like, why do you need all this this area? I'm like, we're running the tournament. Like we have things to do. We have thousands of dollars, like Anthony said, thousands of dollars of camera equipment over there. We can't have people just waltzing by back and forth, and they just were not understanding.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole day Saturday, I think towards the end of the day, we kind of just gave up. And then Sunday morning when we got there, we conceded some area. We got like the actual physical rails to put up.
Yeah.
And sectioned off. And Sunday went great. No one came in our area. It was awesome.
They understood.
Yeah, it was fun. Like I get it. Like you want to get the best vantage point for the game. You want to be up there, and we just wanted to be protective of our stuff. I don't think it was, I mean, I do remember one guy like took it personally and like called me a joke and was like really mad at me. And I'm like, I'm sorry, man. Like, I don't know what to tell you, but like, we got to do this. So it was an unexpected dynamic to have at the facility that I know people were not the happiest with us, but I hope they can understand, like, we just had all this stuff. We didn't know who was going to be there, and we couldn't have people going past this table the whole weekend with all of our most important things there. That basically the things that powered the weekend.
Next time we'll hire security or something, or have more communication on signage or something, because that was a learning moment too for us.
I think my favorite one was someone turned to me and was like, well, where am I going to watch the game? And I just gestured to the massive set of bleachers across the way. I'm like, there's designated seating literally right over there. Like, I don't know what to tell you. If you, they just shook their head and walked down.
Yeah, it was interesting. But, you know, we had the biggest hit for the weekend was the mystery bags.
Yeah.
We put up we've had this whole storage of leftover jerseys, extra jerseys. So we sold those. We thought we were going to have them for the Jersey weekend. I think we had like 4 for Jersey by the time. Oh, no, we didn't have any.
No, we sold out. We sold out like Sunday morning.
Yeah.
People love them. So we're going to bring back those in some capacity.
I think we should explain what the mystery bags were for people who
that's a good idea.
Were not at Buffalo and did not get to experience them. We, like Anthony said, had extra like jerseys and uniforms that we had accumulated, I feel, over all 4 years of the NBHL they were from. And so we did 2 separate types of bags. One was shorts and one was shirts. And you got what, 2 for 10?
2 for 15?
2 for 15?
I don't even know.
I think it was, you get any 2 bags for like $15.
Yeah.
And it was like old uniforms or old shorts from teams, and people just annihilated
Didn't someone get like the same like 2's jersey and shorts or something like that? Like a full set? I forget what it was. Someone had like a funny situation of what they opened. I feel like it was Corey. But
Corey bought a lot of them.
I can't remember what it was, but like we were cracking up at whatever combination he ended up getting. But sucks, I can't remember.
I remember he got an Imperium. Corey Wilson got a Penn Hills Imperium jersey, which I thought was just like they had played them in the finals the year before. And now he's wearing their jersey around the facility. It was pretty funny. But the mystery bags were great. We have some ideas on how we're going to make that a thing continually. We just have to finalize how we're going to do that. But yeah, I mean, like I said, the facility was great. The locker room was a little bit of an issue for no one's doing, besides the fact that there were 11 locker rooms for 12 teams. So shout out to the Novas and the Angels, because I don't want to get the teams wrong that did this for us.
2 of our elite teams.
I think it was no. I think it was Orcas and Angels. They combined. Orcas and Angels combined, and it made everyone easy because everyone could just stay in their locker room for the rest of the weekend. Now, some teams were not happy with the locker room they ended up with, but you know, it was just kind of a random rotation. And at one point it got stuck in that rotation because those teams combined, and it was just like, okay, well, this is how we're going to have to do this. But yeah, that was difficult. But I mean, tier 1 was, you know, pretty awesome. Like, we finished Saturday, everybody was either 2 or 1 or 1 and 2. Like the Leominster Stars, they won it all in 2023. They finished in last place in prelims, which I don't think anybody would have guessed if you were going into the weekend. Women's, like, the difference between tier 1 and women's was tier 1 was just like a, you know, round robin for the playoffs, whereas women's was a continuation of the regular season. So the Orcas, they ended up finishing 6-2. They finished in first place, and they won the regular season title. And they went into the playoffs. Their first game was against the Novas, and then we had the Hyenas at 3, Angels at 2. So Saturday we had, how many teams were there? There were 12 teams times 3 games each. There was 18 games between the 2 rinks. And we used the red rink a little bit. I know the players preferred the red rink just because it was the deck surface over the concrete, which was a little slippery, which was unfortunate, honestly, that, you know, I know some players weren't happy with that. And, you know, it just was the circumstances. It's something we've talked about for next year, that we've got some different things that I think we'll be doing, but for the entire tournament, I think. But yeah, I mean, we get back Saturday. I think we were up late Saturday, right? Because that was your birthday, right?
Yeah, it was my birthday. Shout out me.
Yeah.
Shout out me.
Yeah, McKenna Mike McKenna got you the cake, right?
Yeah. So, well, we were all staying in a staff Airbnb, and we were just like hanging out after the games. And I'm upstairs getting changed, and I guess I was assumed I was gonna like stay and hang out there because we were hanging out on the deck. And I'm like, oh, I gotta go get something downstairs. I'm gonna go run and grab it real quick. And I walk downstairs, and all of a sudden I see McKenna and Casey Cormier just like frozen like deer in headlights with a birthday cake in their hands. They're like, can you just go back upstairs and pretend like you didn't see this? I'm like, let me grab, I think it was like my charger. Like, let me grab my charger and I'll be out of here, and I'll act shocked when I see the cake later.
That's funny.
So they finished setting it up and brought it upstairs, and I got sung happy birthday and enjoyed some cookie cake.
Yeah, I guess it was midway through the day Saturday. I was like, wow, I totally forgot it was your birthday. Like, we're just so busy, like, just one thing after the other. And I was like, oh, happy birthday. But yeah.
Well, your reaction seemed genuine to me. I didn't know that story you told right now. So
I'm an incredible actor in Hollywood. Look at this.
It's looking
This
at
can
the
be all
camera
yours for a
good
very
camera
low
work.
price.
Yeah.
for free.
Very low.
Yes.
Yeah, I will act for whatever charge.
We would pay you a significant amount to get him in anything. Anything. So Sunday, we'll get to Sunday, Buffalo. So tier one, I just want to touch on the Buffalo 716ers as the champion and their entire path, because it was just a crazy weekend for them because their fans were incredible. Like, they were crazy.
Probably the reason they won.
It was the most home rink advantage I've ever seen in any NBHL thing.
And ball hockey in general, I'd say, honestly, besides maybe the world stage. Yeah, but
they played at 8 a.m. on Sunday morning. They were the first game. And they had, I feel like, a couple hundred people behind that.
Already drinking.
Yeah.
At 7
my
a.m.
God, they were ready.
Bill's Mafia, basically.
Yeah. It was unbelievable. They came out in numbers. They supported those guys. Every time they scored, you heard the roar of the crowd. It was just pretty amazing. And I think going back to Saturday, the one game Saturday night where they played the Caribou was the game to end the night. The rink was dark. It was just, it felt like cinematic, the game. Like, it was just, we need to get the highlights up. We're slacking.
Yeah, we do have to get them up.
But it went to a shootout, and the 716ers won in the shootout. And it was just, I don't know how to describe it. It was just a different atmosphere.
Like that game was on like center stage and like everyone was watching, and it was a really good game. And then it went to shootout, and poor me, I'm stuck on the other rink filming something while I just hear the crowd going crazy.
You were doing video and I was doing scorekeep on the other guys. I just kept hearing the crowd go nuts. I'm like, what is happening over there? I need to get over there.
Yeah. And we missed it, I think. But yeah. But no, I mean, yeah, exactly what you said. It was like, I don't know, it was just a great moment. Yeah, for the tournament.
And that was after we were having scoreboard issues too. So they had a brief intermission in the middle of that game as well.
I forgot about that.
So the fans were really sitting there and being very patient with us getting the scoreboard back up and running, and they were rewarded with a home team W.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had to stop both games, I remember, for
it was something
20 minutes at least.
Yeah, because both scoreboards went down and you had to like get them back on at like the exact same time for it to resync it. So we did end up getting it back up and running, and the games finished. Luckily, it was the last game of the day. At least only one game was on each time rank was affected by it. But
I still don't know what happened there, but it eventually worked out. It gave everybody the longest intermission they could have possibly asked for. But so the 716ers, if you go to YouTube and watch their highlights from their playoff run, because their first game was against the Aces, and it was ridiculous. It was the 8 a.m. game. They go up 2-0, then they go down 3-2, then they score 3 goals in the last 2 minutes to win it. So they were going crazy. Their second game is against the other Pittsburgh team, the runner-up now, the Renegades. Probably the best tier one game of the weekend.
That's the game that sticks with me from that weekend.
Absolutely.
I just couldn't believe what I was watching that game. It was just so back and forth. And
there were 6 goals in the third period
probably
in
the
this
best
game.
Yeah. And probably NBHL history.
It was up there. It was an outrageous game. Just, you had no idea who was going to win. I remember the 716ers scored a huge goal to go up 4-3, like late in the third, and then seconds later, the Renegades went down the rink and they scored.
Yeah,
and it was just like, it was unbelievable. They also had an empty net goal on that game on the penalty kill. Remember that? They were shorthanded.
Oh,
they
yes,
pulled
the little deflection
off the foot.
Yep. When they get to the finals, it's an all Buffalo final with Rose City Royals going against the 716ers, which is almost like poetic in the sense because they never, like, Rose City had to forfeit the Buffalo Tier 1 finals. So we never got some closure on how that series should have ended.
Yep.
Like the 7-1 Sixers, I think were up 1-0, but it ended. So we got that next game of that finals where the 7-1 Sixers, they went up early and they didn't really look back. It was still a 2-1 game. It was a very close, tight game. But yeah, it was just a unbelievable weekend for the 7-1 Sixers. And that team, they're not back in the NBHL this year. Their players are dispersed amongst tier 2 teams, and they just said this is their last hurrah no matter what happened. And it was just like, it was crazy that they
Script writers.
Yeah, it felt like you couldn't have written it any better. Like the tournament was in Buffalo. They just had their fans out there, and I think they like that powered them. Like they really were such a huge part of it.
1000%.
But congrats to the 7-1 Sixers. Like it was so much fun to watch.
Yeah.
Like
it was a blast.
it was just crazy seeing really it was really the first time we've seen a hometown team.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I just the facility, fans, level of competition. I mean, that was definitely one of the best, weekends I've seen.
And then we ran into like half of them at the bar afterwards too.
Yeah.
Right next door.
Yeah.
They were out there celebrating their victory. There was a great little wing spot next door.
What the hell was that place called?
I don't remember. Incredible wings though.
Strive. What was the wing place called that we liked at the end?
Some with the S.
It was like an Irish place.
It was just such a dive, but
it was
good wings.
Yeah, that was the best wings we had there. And then on the women's elite side, so
Swanee House.
Swanee House.
So what?
You have to get their secret wing sauce.
Yeah,
it's not a secret if you say it on the podcast.
But the people have to know.
We're not saying anything people in Buffalo don't know already, I'm sure.
True.
I'm sure they're all pretty. But that place was delicious.
I think Stride went there twice throughout our 2 days there.
Maybe 3 times.
Yeah. But so women's elite side, the Orcas were dominant, getting to the finals, and they hadn't lost the whole they went 3-0 Saturday. They get into the finals and they're up. They're playing against the Angels. The Angels, who were the number 2 seed, they were also having a great but Orcas obviously had beat them earlier in the and they've only let up 1 goal going into this final on the to the Orcas. I said the word 1,000 times. Just get rid of one of them. Yeah, bleep them out or something.
They just permanently closed Swanee House.
No, they didn't. Stop it.
Oh my God, we shut them down.
No. Okay.
Breaking news on the NBHL Commish Chat Podcast.
No way. Are you kidding me?
Swanee House is no more.
Wow. I'm never going to use that
they
again.
got shut down by the health commission in New York or something.
Stop it.
I'm just kidding. I made that up. But,
oh God. Jesus.
But Stribe ate too much of it, probably. Yeah. You close them out, yeah.
There's no way we can recover.
Wow. It says, the Swanee House is closing after the death of its owner.
All right.
That's we went there to party with the 7-1 Sixers after they won the championship.
Yeah. Well, rest in peace to the owner. He had an amazing wing spot. Wow. That is really, really sad to hear that place is gone, and sad that he is gone. Wow. What a crazy breaking news. Well, I guess it's from
No, this is breaking news. It broke 8 minutes ago. They can't prove when we
November 7th or right now. I don't know. One of the others is when that news became public. But Orcas, anyway. So Orcas, they're up 1-0. And the Angels tied it up. They had this weird goal that kind of popped out and ended up backdoor and someone tapped it in. Do you remember? It was
I think so. It was just it had, I don't know. I think I remember what goal you're talking about.
Yeah. And then it was the second goal scored against that team. And then 1-1, it's back and forth action. It's the intensity level was amazing. It was crazy, crazy hockey. And then we go into overtime and we're in the first overtime. And I texted somebody at Riverworks about something with sound. And seconds later, Goodbye Stranger is on at full blast
in the middle of overtime.
And we're all up there looking what do we do? And I'm just sprinting looking for anybody with that looks like they work at Riverworks. I'm someone please help us turn this song off because God forbid we have the game-winning goal happen during this.
Not only was it playing, it was just so loud. Like it was too
blasting.
loud. And yeah, it was just a minute of panic just set in, and eventually I guess we got it turned off. But
I'd say it was the most helpless I've ever felt out of my or NBHL Cup about anything, because I was just like,
someone's like,
what do I do?
started running down the stairs, and I forget who it was like, TJ, go fix this or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm trying. Like, I'm running.
I think we were all just sprinting around, just like looking for somebody. Like, how do we fix this?
It's like, what do you think I'm doing? Like,
but we posted. So eventually we go to double overtime.
We get the song off, by the way.
We get the song off. And the Orcas win a draw back to Heidi Niskanen, who rips a missile, an absolute missile to win this game. And it was just such a perfect ending for Women's Elite, because we've said on this podcast before, but this was the first time doing it. We weren't sure how it was going to go. We weren't sure what players were going to sign up. And for it to end in a double overtime game on just like such an amazing like goal to win it, like it was awesome.
I was literally like right behind, like on the glass down near where the NBHL tent was, like won the draw back, and I was like, holy shit. Like that was insane.
It was a cannon.
Yeah.
They went nuts. They celebrated, and it was just like such a great ending for Women's Elite, because I felt like, I don't know, like the 4 teams, they came together and the games were tight. Like, we saw the Hyenas, who got blown out the first game of the whole entire Women's Elite season, come a long way and battle back and play some amazing games. I remember, we're talking about the 716ers Caribou shootout game. The Hyenas and Angels went to a shootout at the end of that night. I think Sydney Fioca had like some nasty goals to win that one for them. Like, it was just amazing to see what it turned into. The competitiveness just went up and up and up as the games went on. And I am really excited for the changes that we're enacting for this year and all the different stuff that is going to be, with Colleen on board. Colleen has had some incredible ideas for improving Elite, and it's just going to go better from here. But, everybody who played like that believed in us that first year. Like, it meant so much to have the players like buy in, and, seeing like teams have like their custom gear and like all that stuff. It was like just so cool to see how bought in everybody was. So, an amazing ending. What a snipe. And then we got everything on NHL Network, which was cool. It was our first time we got women's highlights on the NHL Network.
And
yeah, I guess it is, huh?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's the first time we were able to. So it was great.
Well, what a way to kick it off.
I know. It was awesome. But so shout out to the Orcas. Shout out to the 716ers. Shout out to Riverworks. It was a chaotic weekend. I even had to call the cops on someone. I don't want to go into it, but it got crazy. But it was a very fun weekend, and even got some content coming out that we are really excited about. I can't, don't want to give too many details, but we had some Buffalo area filmmakers in town doing some stuff for us. So we're excited about that. That should be out soon. So we decided to schedule back-to-back NBHL Championship weekends, which was such a great idea. And shout out to the players that played in both, by the way. The fact that you did that 2 weekends in a row as a player is amazing. So I know there's a handful of people that did do both, like specifically women's players that were on women's teams and played Elite. So thank you so much for doing that. But basically, so we leave Buffalo. We pick up our stuff Monday. Thanks to Dave and everybody. They had all our stuff folded up. We picked it all up, checked out the Airbnb, went back to Jersey, slept for a day, and then pretty much started setting up Jersey.
I think I worked like 2 days of my real job, and then just right back into NBHL. And it was, I did no work those 2 days, and we were just straight back into NBHL in New Jersey. It was a lot, but I mean, honestly, not as bad as I thought it was going to be having back-to-back weekends. But definitely, that after New Jersey completed, definitely slept for like 2 days, I think.
Yeah, I was exhausted.
I was cooked after the New Jersey weekend. Because Buffalo, there's only one rink, sometimes 2 rinks going at a time.
It was definitely...
It's a lot more laid back on our part in terms of what we have to do. But New Jersey comes around. there's up to 5 rinks going at a time.
Yeah.
Like it's a lot to manage. And we did it, but it takes a lot out
They're
of us.
like polar opposites of tournaments, I feel like.
Yeah, and shout out Stribe, first ever media schedule we've had, and usually at our Mile Cups or our NBHL Cup, we just kind of were just winging it with our media team. And this year we had a pretty set in stone plan of who was doing photos at each game and video at each game and who was doing what. And now we do need to get those games up too on YouTube. Or procrastinating on that, but we will get those up. But the media schedule helped a lot, made sure we can cover every game in some capacity. I mean, every game was obviously recorded, but from video and like high def footage, we were able to get a lot of that. But we get to Friday, we got the night games, and the forecast all week leading up was flawless, right? Like I wasn't even worried about weather.
Your forecast might have been.
I mean, it was like, yeah, it was. I think we did see rain for like while we're in Buffalo, like looking up ahead, like it was supposed to rain, I think. And then it got nice. And then, yeah, Friday just randomly, beautiful night, just starts downpouring.
I knew the whole time. For you avid podcast listeners, go back to the last episode and listen to my prediction. Spot on. Absolutely spot on.
So what was it again, G?
I predicted a little bit of rain on Friday, and then we're going to be clear the rest of the weekend.
It's a hell of a prediction.
It's a hell of a prediction.
You can't get too optimistic. You have to give a little bit, and then the weather respects that you aren't asking too much.
Fair play.
Yeah. It's negotiation with Mother Nature.
But it was crazy because, like, if you looked at the radar, like, there was like one little sliver of green. Like, it was so
literally
small.
Less than 5 minutes, probably.
And
it
it was
downpouring.
Yeah, it was just over the hockey
like
rinks,
the hardest
essentially.
rain for 5 minutes, and then it was done.
And that was at Gloucester. And I think West Deptford got a little bit of rain, but it was less. But I know Gloucester got hit for what? I guess it was 5-10 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it just kind of like made the rinks just slick enough where it affected the rest of the games that night. But
by the morning,
we were happy though.
The early games were still maybe a little slick on Saturday morning, but once the sun came out, it was fine.
Yeah, it was fine. And the last Friday night thing to touch on was the mutiny. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The mutiny versus the Sloss game. So the Sloss they did not qualify for the NBHL Championships because they finished in third in Jersey, but we had 15 teams in Tier 3. In Tier 2, because we had 15 teams in Tier 2, there was an uneven number of games. So we needed someone to fill in that game. So the Sloss were the team who got that game. And they ended up playing the mutiny, and Nick and Chris Kilcourse are brothers and played against each other, from one living in Florida, one living in Jersey. And it was just crazy thing that ended up happening. Like
the Battle of the Kilcourses.
Yeah.
Is it the first ever brother versus brother match in the NBHL Championships history? It's got to be, right?
Off the top of my head, I can't think of that scenario
I feel
happening
like
before.
we mentioned this situation maybe on the preview episode or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, it happened.
Yeah, and I think the mutiny won 4-3 or 3-2. Like, it was a good game. It was a very good game.
Yeah, it sounds right. Because I
But it
remember
was just-
Sloth was close. Yeah.
So we get to Saturday. We're down to 4 rinks. We're downsizing, and had some pretty significant games. Like Philadelphia Code Red and South Jersey Majestic are both built from the Night's Watch family
Regime.
of teams, and they talk a lot of trash to each other. So they played each other. It was a intense game. What did Code Red win? 2-0, 3-0,
2-0.
But it's a couple.
Or no, there was one goal at the end. I think it was like they had a shutout and 20 seconds left. Majestic put one in.
Oh, did they?
Ruined Burkhart's otherwise flawless performance in the game.
But yeah, it was fun to watch those teams go at it, because they had been, like I said, they were talking a lot of trash all season long. So they got to have years of, I guess, trash
Built
talk
up,
they could
yeah.
have. Yeah.
Well, because we had some crossover games this year between the Philadelphia Tier 2 and the South Jersey Tier 2 division, and they were begging me to have Majestic play Code Red, but we ended up needing to do a little tweaking to that crossover schedule, so it couldn't quite work out. So they got to have their matchup draw on a little bit of a bigger stage.
Yeah, and for NBHL Cup, it worked out because we do the schedule earlier in April or May. We slot everybody in, But if there are rematches from prior prelim games or teams that played each other at the tournament before, we need to move games around. So we try, just give you different opponents.
Right.
So those just slotted in right next to each other. Like, all right, let's go. This will be a fun one. And the other one that worked out that way was the Battle of Canada, which was Vancouver Viper Kings and the Niagara Fighting
team.
Irish, which, I mean, it was the Battle of Canada plus like Northeast Philly, because we had a lot of what's it called?
We had like Scotty and Jim Gaunt, right? They were on the Viper Kings. Who was the other? They had the Long Island kid, I think.
Yeah, but they just had, Vancouver couldn't get their whole team out to the tournament. Obviously, it's a hype for them, and they had some, players that dropped, unfortunately, that we thought were going to be there, but they, used the affiliate squad rules, called up some guys from local Philly Tier 3, and they ended up filling in pretty well. They had a pretty decent tournament with these players.
They made a run.
Yeah, they lost that game to the Irish 2-0, but they won some playoff games. They gave Militia a good run on Sunday, and it was great. But and then we had one of the longest shootouts in NBHL history on Saturday. It was the Darts versus the Blaze. The Darts DC ended up pulling it out.
Yeah.
And I think our women's commissioner, Colleen Murphy, shot like
20 times.
Yeah, she shot a lot. A
Yep.
lot. But it was crazy because, the shootouts, everybody packs around.
Yeah.
And there was, everybody from all the rinks had come to focus on this rink to watch it happen. And we saw 20 minutes of one-on-one.
I felt bad. I was like waiting, like the game was going to end, and then it gets into overtime and then the shootout. And like I'm waiting to like bring the guy down that's doing video. So I just like ended up staying there for like an hour watching the game through the OT and shootout. But yeah, no, that was a battle.
Yeah, I think that was the Blazes' only loss on the weekend too, was that shootout. And then the biggest difference we did this year was we had the playoffs start on Saturday for the first time. Not for women's. Women's started on Sunday. But for Tier 2 and 3, it started on Saturday. And Saturday night, we had a game which was Squall versus Mutiny. It was a 7-6 back and forth shootout win by the Mutiny. It was an insane game. And like the Squall, like credit to them. They moved up to Tier 3, or moved up from Tier 3 to Tier 2 for the first time. Unfortunately, their draw was they played the Chiefs and the Militia their first two games, which ended up being the two teams in the championship. But then they won their third game versus the Bantams, and they played the Mutiny, and the Mutiny were a team that was, if you asked around, I think a lot of people thought they had a very good chance of winning this thing. And they gave them, it was just, you couldn't look away. Every time you looked away, a goal happened. So it was just an amazing game. And for whatever reason, the penalty shot game winner in that is getting a lot of Facebook comments lately. Some really weird ones. But amazing game.
And it was the last game of the day too. So for once we were able to actually sit down and watch the game.
Yeah.
Not because we expect every game to be a good game, but we didn't have a particular emphasis on that one. But it was just, we have some time. This drink is running behind. This is the last game of the day. Let's go over and watch. And we got an absolute banger.
Yeah, it was a great game.
I think that was the same. Yeah, that was Saturday night. That was when there was another, I think all three games at that slot were just like bangers. Like I was like jumping back and forth. I think it was the Devils maybe, or Demons, and I don't know, it was some Tier 3 game, but it was I just remember going back and forth during those games.
Yeah, it was some really good hockey. It was pretty crazy. But yeah, so then we get to Sunday, and we've got the Militia who won Tier 2. And Militia was just, I think you'd have to say they were the most dominant Tier 2 team we've had to go through the tournament, right? Like any of our, I guess, the Long Island Sound went 7-0 last year.
I'd say like just based on how they played last year, like Militia, like in the tournament, being able to see them like firsthand, like, yeah, I wouldn't, put it past them to make it this far. And like they did, and they dominated. And
they were so good. 26-2, they outscored their teams.
And then didn't they go undefeated like all season?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. They were
17-0 season.
No, I think it was
19
really
or
more than that. I think we actually posted a graphic.
Yeah, we
with
posted
the
a graphic.
wrong
What was it?
number. No, I think
20.
the graphic was wrong. I think it was actually like 21 though.
Oh.
I don't know. Whatever, Militia didn't lose a game this year. They were dominant.
Impressive.
They deserved to win. They were fantastic.
Probably go down. That's history for a tier 2 team right there.
Yeah.
Not ever losing.
Yeah. But then the tier 3 winner, the North Jersey Pirates, they did the same thing. They didn't lose the whole season as well. They went undefeated all season. So tier 3, the final 4 teams I thought was super cool was New Jersey, was Rhode Island in the Gansett Lobsters. It was Florida in the Tampa Bay Thunder, and then it was Georgia in the Atlanta Dirty Birds. So we had 4 different states represented in the Final Four, which was just, I don't know, it was cool for us to see.
Yes.
And 2 pretty non-traditional hockey markets too, in Florida and Georgia.
Yeah. Yeah, but they were the first ever North Jersey team to qualify for the NBHL Championships because their
Long
North
Island
Jersey tier
teams,
2
right.
has been, Long Island's always won those. So North Jersey comes for the first time and wins it.
Yeah.
It was great for them. They were another dominant team. They, I think they had some overtime and shootout wins maybe on Saturday. Like they didn't finish as the number 1 seed. They finished as, I think they were 3 seed in prelims, but they ended up, doing their thing and dominating on their way to win.
Yeah.
So they played great. And then our women's tier, 3rd straight year, Mass women's tier takes the women's tier. This year's the Bay State Blaze. Their championship game against the McKeesport Riddlers was incredible.
Yep.
Another our women's finals this year were sick.
Yeah, they were sick.
We
I
had
mean,
2 overtime games, and this game, the Blaze controlled, I think, most of the game, and then the 3rd period momentum started to shift a little bit towards the Riddlers, and then they scored with less than a minute left to tie it up and force overtime. It was Kelly Wagner who, by the way, she scored the double OT winner last NBHL Championships against the Cavalry.
Wow.
She is 2 of the more clutch goals in women's NBHL Cup history.
That's a graphic.
Yeah. So she scores less than a minute left to tie it up. And then we go to overtime. And then Sophie Schuster scores the game winner. She just kind of threw one on net from the point. I don't know if she was aiming or just kind of making a play with the ball, just trying to get some action on net, but found its way to the back of the net. And the Blaze, they won again. So another OT thriller for the women's tier. And someone's got to knock Massachusetts off, I guess, here, huh?
I think I saw some teams posting I think it was in the Massachusetts women community. It was like, we've won it 3 straight years. Come try out for our team. We need the other divisions to be like, we've lost every year. Come try out for our team.
Well, and then in Pittsburgh women's defense too, they've gone to the finals all 3 years as well and have lost. So they've been close. It's been closer. The final for women's, they've been closer every single year. But the Blaze
had 2 or 3 that won both elite and just the normal women's tier, right?
Yeah.
Pretty good back-to-back weekends.
Yeah. It's a nice couple weekends for them. Hopefully, I'm sure they were exhausted.
Yeah.
But yeah, so 5 champions. Tier 1, we got the 716ers. Tier 2, we got the Militia. Tier 3, we've got the Pirates. Then we've got the Orcas, and we've got the Bay State Blaze. So we've got Massachusetts, Jersey, Pittsburgh, and Buffalo.
And miscellaneous United States.
Yeah. Just
ocean, I guess, is where the Orcas can come from.
The ocean. But yeah, so Monday we went to Skeeter's after. It's a local bar in South Jersey. Had some drinks.
I was just so tired. I had
dead.
Just get me out of here.
We didn't do our normal celebration shot though.
No,
we'll never repeat what kind of shot we take.
Yeah, we can't say the celebratory shot we usually have after the tournament. But
if comment it somewhere. But I don't know if we've ever revealed it.
It can be described as, well, there's probably a shot that comes to mind, and it's not the one that you're thinking of.
Oh, right.
It is a second body part type shot.
Wow. But were they thinking that first?
I don't know.
Maybe they were.
If you're under drinking age, I'm sorry, you have no idea what we're talking about here. And I mean, it's kind of probably hard to decipher regardless. We'll just guess what kind of shot we take after we're done. Let us know. Let us know what you think it is.
And we'll let you know if you get it.
Yeah, and we'll take one after the next NBHL Championships together.
Yeah.
So
together.
So we go to the rink. We go start cleaning up. Shout out Mike Malloy. Came helped us out.
While Stribe just shot around on the rink.
Yeah, Stribe was just sniping. He was going bar down every shot. It was kind of sick. But what were you doing? Yeah. Is there another Stribe?
I don't know.
You're sleeping over there. But
I feel like taking down those banners is always so much worse than putting them up.
oh, I disagree.
Because I feel like we always zip those zip ties so tight, and then we go to get the snips in, and we're like, I can't.
Taking him down
Jam
is
it in
definitely
there.
like, I think it's, I agree with Ant, but you're just like exhausted that day. So you're just like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't want to go up and down.
And then we got, I don't think it was the next day because I think we waited a couple of days. But then we went to the West Deptford rinks to go take those banners down.
Oh yeah.
And we were on the rink getting the last one down, and they locked us on the rink.
Yeah. Yeah, we did get locked on the rink.
We were sitting there like chit chatting, and they were like closing up their rink after they had games, and I think they just like shut it, and it's like locked behind them, right?
Yeah,
Or
I wasn't there. Did you guys just climb?
No, we
And-
slept on the rink for like 2 days. We could not get out of there.
And finally, we got our hockey sticks. We made an SOS sign, and a plane came and picked us up.
An SOS.
No, we had the ladder with us, so we had to use the ladder to climb out of there.
Yeah.
And then I was the last one, so I had to send the ladder up, and then I was super athletic, and I climbed over the fence.
Yeah,
So
most-
Hollywood, I can do my own stunts too, in
Most
case you're
athletic
still
thing
watching.
I've ever seen from you, actually. But you know, an amazing couple weekends. It was exhausting, but in the best way. Like it was just worth every second of it. It was so much fun. And thank yous, like we're gonna forget people in this, but like the media team, the graphics people, the video people, the photographers, every person that contributed to that was amazing. I thought it was the best we've covered one of our events. Like I felt like we just like had a plan, we stuck to it, we executed. So shout out to our media team, shout out Strive for running the show there. He did a pretty awesome job. But media team was amazing. Sponsors, thanks for being a part of it, sponsoring all the different components of the NBHL. Melissa Jones, our women's commish. I mean, she was awesome.
Good luck in going for her MBA, right?
I know she's going for a
For
master's.
her
Yeah, I'm
master's.
pretty sure. But yeah, good luck, Melissa. We will miss you. Hopefully we have you back someday.
Yes.
Working for us in some capacity. But just throughout the weekend too, she was just a saint. She did so much to help us out. And I mean, the team managers, the refs, the scorekeepers, our ref crew was amazing.
Yeah.
The scorekeepers, the staff at Riverworks again, and just the fans, the people that came out. Like there were people that just came out to watch, and it was great talking to people, meeting people, putting faces to names, and it was just it's always just a very, I don't know, fulfilling way to finish everything, to meet people and see the teams win and see how excited they get.
Yeah.
And it's just fun. So
I'll say one more shout out to our families. If you guys were at the tournaments and you were buying stuff from the shirts or anything, you probably was given to you by one of our family members.
Yeah.
We've both, me and Anthony share the same family. We're brothers. It's how it works. But our family and TJ's family, like they both came out all weekend. They were there helping us, supporting us. They're always there all the time. So it's great to have them all out, and we're happy and we appreciate them giving us so much support.
Yeah, absolutely.
much.
Couldn't do it without them. I mean, there's a million things that they just do that we wouldn't be able to do on that weekend, and or else we'd have to pay someone to do it, basically. So, is that ridiculous?
Mama Sanrocco will get $1.
And yeah, I was just gonna say, like, shout out your dad, because I mean, he's the handyman around the rink, so a lot gets done through him, and without him, it literally wouldn't be possible. So
yeah,
To the trash.
we're very lucky.
shout out to DeVito and
DeVito and
Tanner.
Trevor and Tanner,
Yes.
picking up the
Picking up
trash.
trash. We appreciate that.
It was a group effort.
Yes.
Like there's so many people that contributed to making it work, and it's just we can't say enough how much we appreciate everybody. Like I know we do our big sappy post at the end of the year where we say I write like 5 paragraphs. I'm sure nobody reads the 5 paragraphs, but like basically what we're saying here is what we say in that post. It's like just thank you to everybody. But yeah, I feel like that's enough.
Yeah.
If you're still listening,
What do you have to say?
Yeah, no questions this week. I don't think we gathered any, right?
No, we did not. Any questions?
From the
field?
audience, from the live studio audience.
Questions?
Yeah, that you think our audience would ask?
Taking too long.
Take it.
All right.
No, that's it.
But yeah, so this will probably get released around the holidays. So happy holidays, and stay tuned for a new episode coming up, which will go through our rule changes and not a preview of next year. We're just talking about things that'll be different for next year. But yeah, thanks for listening.
Bye.
Yeah, happy holidays.